your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
All right, good evening to you on this chilly Wednesday night. Under the clear skies that we've got out there, readings are really beginning to fall off. We've got temperatures that are now down to that freezing mark. 33 degrees over in Champaign right now. It's 36 in Springfield, 34 over in Effingham as we head into early tomorrow morning. As you go out there, maybe grab some coffee. Temperatures are going to be quite cool. Look at that, 34, 7 a.m. We're going to be up to around only just 41 by 9 o'clock. But hang in there, as temperatures actually get to the mid-50s by later to the afternoon. So it'll be a chilly start, but things looking pretty good. All right, some rain around for part of your weekend. I'll show you what to expect when we come back. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
COVID cases are skyrocketing across the state, which important statistic hasn't gone up that much. Plus, Target 3 showed you the aftermath of methane pollution in one county, what lawmakers at the state capitol are now demanding.
And people have to distance themselves from each other right now, but they still found a way to celebrate Veterans Day.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
There definitely has been an increase in hospitalizations.
That's the result of the surge in COVID-19 cases in Illinois. Medical workers are having to adapt to meet that need. Good evening. I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jessica Coons. Hospitals across central Illinois are seeing a rise in COVID-19 hospitalizations in the last couple of weeks. It's been a demanding time for doctors and nurses to take on all of the new patients. WCIA 3's Jennifer Jensen joins us now. So, Jennifer, what is the hospitalization rate?
Jessica, in central Illinois, the most recent report for Region 3 shows 42 ICU beds available out of 171. Region 6 has 54 beds out of 178. Medical professionals say this shows the increased need for care compared to previous months during the pandemic.
The state reported 12,657 new COVID-19 cases and 145 more deaths on Wednesday. That significant rise in numbers is causing more people to need critical medical treatment.
With the greater number of cases, you will see greater numbers of people that need hospitalization.
Jared Rogers, president of OSF Heart of Mary Medical Center in Urbana, says despite this rise, they've noticed something new during the pandemic. The amount of people severely ill requiring intensive care or ventilation has not gone up significantly.
Many people that come into the hospital come in because they just have low oxygen levels. Otherwise, they're able to breathe on their own, and they need that, maybe some breathing treatments to help open up their airways.
Like many other healthcare facilities, Carle Foundation Hospital is seeing an increase in staff members with COVID-19. In a statement, they said, quote, "We continue to offer leading safeguards in our workplace to protect our staff and patients. While we're continuing to monitor the situation closely and working through numerous solutions, we know we are at a critical juncture in our community." Both Carle and OSF representatives say they're not facing a staffing shortage, even with the increase in hospitalizations, but they are preparing for the potential of even more hospitalizations to happen. Carle representatives say, quote, "We do have the ability to expand our overall bed capacity through our planning. The increase in cases is concerning."
Medical workers also say they've learned more about how the virus affects different people since the start of the pandemic. Subsequently, treatment protocols have changed along the way, like delaying the time people are put on ventilators, which they say has shown to decrease the death rate. Back to you.
All right, Jennifer, thank you. Right now, 404 people are on ventilators in Illinois because of COVID-19. More than 5,000 are in the hospital, 951 in the ICU. The state broke another record with more than 12,500 new cases today. The positivity rate is 13.6%. 145 more people have died. That includes 16 from central Illinois. That death toll is more than 10,400.
Some workers in education say they're considering calling it quits. The state's largest teachers union says more teachers than ever want out of the profession because they don't feel safe in the classroom. The Illinois Education Association sent a survey to 1,300 union members. Found a third of teachers in the state have considered leaving the field entirely since this crisis began. Now the IEA is calling for the state to take more control over how schools operate during the pandemic.
It would be great if ISB or IDPH or the governor's office would come out with metrics, would come out with some standards, but as of right now, they are respecting local control.
The state ended its school shutdown over the summer, but with numbers rising, Governor Pritzker has made it clear another shutdown is possible. New tonight at 10, one campus isn't taking any chances with rising numbers and has decided to go remote. The University of Illinois Chicago announced today in-person classes would be suspended by the end of the week. Everything will be online until the end of the fall semester. Now, student housing will remain open and all athletics are suspended except for men's and women's basketball.
Now for an update, an Urbana woman accused of hitting someone while driving drunk has been let out on bond. Barbara Anastasi's lawyer had asked for the bond to be lowered because she doesn't have any prior convictions. She's accused of hitting Monica McCoy, who has been in the hospital since late October. Anastasi faces up to 12 years in prison if convicted. Paris police arrested a man for failing to comply with sex offender registry requirements. They say Danny Hills did not tell them about a change of address and was now living in a house that was close to several child care centers.
Also in Paris, police arrested a man after he led them on a chase through the countryside and crashed into a house. Joseph Christopher is facing several charges. Police were first called for a fight where one of the suspects drove off in a maroon van. They tried to stop that van after it was driving erratically, but it instead drove off. Christopher was arrested after police say he drove back to town and crashed into a home on Vance Street. Following up on a Target 3 investigation, our team was the first to report about methane pollution and dangerous levels of benzene showing up in extraction wells at a pair of natural gas facilities. Now, lawmakers want new rules to empower state agencies to prevent something like this from happening again.
We're seeing that there's a breakdown in the government investigation and oversight. Right, that's what it says to me, that we have created a system in which this kind of leakage and drainage and all the different outputs from NICOR were happening without the watch of the government. And in fact, in a way that probably is causing harm.
Lab tests taken from NICOR's extraction wells in LaSalle County last year showed levels of benzene that were more than 5,000 times too high. In a report, the company told the state the risk from the cancer-causing chemical is much lower after the wastewater diluted in the soil. Local health officials still have not tested the private water wells nearby.
It's a team up for Thanksgiving. Who's making sure families don't go hungry for the holiday?
Plus, Veterans Day usually has parades and festivities, but not this time. How people made sure to honor them in other ways.
And the Bragging Rights game could look different this year, but we're not talking about the lack of fans. Why the venue could also change.